DraftKings, Virgin Galactic, Helion, Nikola. These are all examples of SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies. DraftKings, it specializes in online sports betting and was bought by Diamond Eagle Acquisition Corp. Diamond Eagle, it IPO'd in December of 2019 for about $10. It then bought DraftKings, made it public, changed its name to DraftKings Incorporated, and today it's trading at $53. Chamath Palihapitiya is a venture capitalist. He started out working with Facebook, and then he created a SPAC. He bought a 49% stake in Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic. He brought that public, and now that's trading at $32 today. These are all examples of SPACs, and you can't go far in the YouTube space without somebody talking about SPACs. Whole bunch of channels talking about them, few channels talking about if they're in a bubble, and some are just dedicated talking about the newest, latest, and greatest SPACs. The SPAC subreddit has 70,000 subs to it, and then they just created 2 ETFs that only are based on SPACs. There's the Defiance Next Gen SPAC Derived ETF, ticker SPAK. This was created in inception date of September 28th, so it's only a couple months old. And the second is SPAC and the New Issue ETF, ticker SPCX. And this was, it has an inception date of December 15th. But you probably already knew if you watch these financial channels that SPACs are popular and they're getting more popular. So what is a SPAC? A SPAC is, fancy name, Special Purpose Acquisition Company, and they've been around for a few decades, but they're becoming more and more popular recently with all these financial channels talking about them. A slang term is a blank check company, and it will be a company that will essentially, it'll IPO, but it won't actually have any operations. It'll just be like a cardboard box of a company. And the plan is to raise money through an IPO, and then they're going to take that money and buy out a privately held company and take it public that way. Few benefits of this is that there's less regulatory stuff and little regulatory hoops that they have to jump through, IPO in a company in a traditional way. And it's also a little cheaper to do it this way too. There'll often be a big investor. One of them that's a big name in the SPAC space is Bill Ackman. Oftentimes these companies, they will get together and they'll have a specific target that they want to buy. Others, like Bill Ackman's SPAC, they kind of have been going after different companies that look appealing to them. These big investors, they are called the sponsors. And once they take the SPAC public, they have 2 years to complete an acquisition, or all the money that was raised, that goes back to the shareholder. These big investors, or the sponsors, they get ownership of 20% of the SPAC generally. So, and they only get paid this, if they complete the acquisition before the 2 years is up. But the downside of this is if they don't have a target, they may kind of chase after a target company to complete a purchase, even though the terms may not be the best, just so they can get their 20% of the SPAC. Goldman Sachs just released a earnings call, and someone brought up SPACs and they mentioned them, and Goldman Sachs stated that they believe the current rate of SPAC issuances is unsustainable in the long term. And if you look at, according to SPAC research, there were only a few SPACs issued in years past, but in 2020 it grew to 249. And we have 58 so far this year, and it's only January. And the money's been growing that's been raised from SPACs too. $2 or $3 billion raised a few years ago. to $83.5 billion raised in 2020 and $16 billion raised in January of this year. So both of these are on track to beat the 2020 numbers. The chief investment officer of UBS wrote in a letter talking about irrational exuberance if the stock market is in a bubble, and mentions specifically cryptos and SPACs. He said, irrational exuberance, the cryptocurrency markets are exhibiting signs of excessive speculation, and the IPO SPAC markets are the hottest in 2 decades. But these markets do not yet pose a broader systemic risk. There's some similarities between SPACs and ICOs. ICOs were initial coin offerings in 2018, and the idea was that instead of issuing shares to go public, a company could issue its own cryptocurrency to go public, and that's how you would get ownership of this company, and that's how the company would raise funds. One sign of the top, or the sign of a bubble, is when celebrities get behind these kind of financial products. And for the ICO market, you had Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Ashton Kutcher all get behind certain ICOs. And today we have Jay-Z for one. He's backing Subversion Capital, which is the biggest cannabis SPAC ever. Here's an article I found kind of talking about different signs of a bubble. And number one, we have securities are purchased based on a belief rather than analysis. Number two, a narrow group of companies or business models is perceived to be so valuable that any company that is seen as belonging to this group is valued at extraordinary levels. Maybe hint, those 2 new SPAC ETFs. Number three, company stories become more impactful than financial results. Number four, charismatic leaders tell the faithful about a far out, bright future, far removed from the current reality. And number five, doubters have been wrong for a long time and are largely disregarded as people who are they just don't get it. So is the SPAC market in a bubble? I don't know. You could definitely see some similarities and some signs that it could be in a bubble. We have 2 brand new ETFs that are really new. You have all the YouTube channels talking about SPACs. You have some celebrities getting behind SPACs. It's all over CNBC. And then you have like the big guys at Goldman Sachs and all these big investment banks. They're talking about it too. And some of them don't believe in SPACs yet. Or they think that it's overdue, or it's overheating, or it's not sustainable. SPACs aren't like a real different kind of company in themselves. It's just a different approach a company can use to go public, become more popular. And the thought process is this is a way for your average investors to get to be able to invest in companies that aren't really able to go the traditional IPO route with getting backing by a big investment bank and then having to go raise funds and have your traditional, they call it a road show, to get backing by all these investors and raise money. Just because it's a SPAC doesn't mean the company is going to go bankrupt or anything like that. If you choose the right SPAC, it can do well. If it's a solid company, it can do well and perform and provide great returns for the shareholder in the future. And if there is a SPAC bubble and the SPAC bubble pops, a bunch of companies will go under and the returns will crash, but some of them will survive and some of them will do just fine in the future. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you think SPACs are in a bubble, or if you have any SPACs yourself, or go ahead and leave a comment if I just don't get it. I don't get the big deal about SPACs. Okay, there you go. I think that's my video. Give me a like. I'd really appreciate that. If you learn anything about SPACs, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Put some other videos over here that we can watch. And then I want you to go have a good day, all right? Justin out.